folks. Here we have it. It is 6 a.m. Sunday morning, and I'm just putting my back video up from way earlier this week. Um, but anyway, it's been a busy week and weekend. Started off this back workout um, with the lat pull downs. The lat pull downs have really been feeling um, really good lately, and it hasn't been bothering my bicep or forearm, so I have been implementing it in my back workouts quite a bit lately. So um, with this one, I had the wide grip where it was like a hammer grip. It kind of, I don't know the name of this actual grip, but um, it enabled me to go a little bit heavier as opposed to just grabbing a front grip, overhand grip on the bar. So we were able to get a pretty wicked first set in there. I think I did 4 or 5 sets of this, if I remember correctly. Actually, I can look at the clips right here. It looks like there's 4. So these felt that good. And I think this was late on Tuesday night, I think. There was nobody in the gym, which was kind of cool. Um, the less people that are in the gym, it has its pros and cons, right? So, like, I have the reins of the gym. I can do anything I want, and nothing is taken. But at the same time, I like when there is people there because it's just kind of more motivating, right? So, but here on the second set, we kept it the same weight. We went right to failure. Form looks good. I mean, there is a little bit of, naturally you're gonna kind of come back a little bit when you're hitting these, and I think that's okay. I don't see an issue with that. I don't know that is a problem, but I do know that 2 sets in on these pull downs and could definitely feel the lats getting pumped up big time. Feel the whole back really, because I mean, lat pull down is going to hit the vast majority of your back. That is some strong coffee. I think we might have lowered the weight just slightly, maybe a plate or two on this third set. But I like the form. I mean, I think the form's pretty good. It's nice and controlled. I'm not jerking the weight around like a knucklehead. Um, Not really concerned about the weight. No ego lifting. Ego lifting's fun to us to an extent, right? But you want to make sure. I want to make sure that my form. I'd rather have lighter weight and have much better form than throwing around crazy weight and jeopardizing my form, right? So it looks like we did. This is the last set for the lat pull downs. Yeah, I've been really taking a liking to the cable lat pull downs lately. So, especially, I mean, I've always liked it. It's just that I was limited with my bicep tendonitis, but thankfully, man, I don't have any signs of bicep tendonitis pretty much this whole year. But I want to keep it that way. So I want to make sure, and that's through good form and, making sure. One thing I may add on my next back workout is some pull ups. I haven't done those in a very long time. I need to do them assisted because I can barely do a single pull up with my own body weight. Um, Actually, I don't even know. Maybe I can do a handful of them. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. But we do have the machine where you can. It has assisted weight. Um, Pull ups are always pretty good for the back. I think it's a really good exercise. I mean, it's very similar to a lat pull down in a sense. It's just the reverse, right? Did a little bit of a drop set here. Not too bad. I like the controlled negative. Then we're just kind of cranking some of them out here towards the end. Yeah. Yeah. Just go pretty much to failure on all of these. So I was happy with those. And then what did we do next? I started actually doing this, putting this video together last night, putting all the clips together. And then my wife, she was on her way home from work and her car broke down. So I had to go out and get her, and we had to get her car towed to the dealership. But so it was kind of a long night. So that's why I'm doing this morning. But we went over here. This row machine, it has just been hitting my back in the greatest way lately. I've been using this machine probably for a month now in every back workout. And I'll switch the grip up a little. I'll switch from like here to here to here. Um, and just overall, it just blasts the whole back and really gives me a really good pump. It's funny how like just a simple switch of the wrist on the grip can really change where I feel it in the back too. I mean, regardless of which grip I grab, I'm gonna feel it in the whole back. But I notice when I come overhand like this, I feel it like more in the rhomboids in the back, and a little bit more of the upper back. Whereas if I grab the hammer grip, I kind of feel it like just the general overall entire back. So it's funny how just slight little differences like that can make such a big difference. Or slight changes can make such an impactful difference. So now I'm holding my microphone in my hand because sometimes when it's up on the hat, the volume is like really low. So I don't think it's the greatest quality mic. But my form, I have no problem with the form. I'm arching my back and just squeezing the entire back as I come back. Shoulders are dropped, head's bobbing around a little bit there, but I mean, I'm not too concerned about that here. Although I want to make sure, you know, I don't strain anything in my neck too, because those are painful when you're. Let me get the wrist straps here. I like wrist straps on most pulling movements. It just takes a lot out of the forearm. I mean, you're still getting a forearm workout too, but it enables me to just go just a little bit heavier on some of the movements. Now here we got the overhand grip, which is kind of cool. This is set number 7 here of this back day. It looks like we did 8 sets in total. So, but overall, I mean, I have no problem with the form here. It's nice and controlled. Shoulders are dropped. Um, Coming back, hitting the sets till failure. I like to go to failure um, as often as I can. I try to do it every set. I don't always do it every set, but I would say like probably 95% of the time, I'm hitting everything to failure. So not bad, not bad. That was yeah, again 7 sets. Now we're gonna go outside. There we go. Just gonna do some single arm pullovers, and one of the thing I want to one of the things I want to explain here is I don't know if I've pointed this out in previous videos. I haven't done these in a while. Normally, I've been doing them with both my arms, but if you notice, I kind of keep my elbow, maybe not quite 90 degrees, but maybe like a 45-degree angle when I come down. So it remains at a 45-degree angle the entire time. Like my arm is not perfectly straight while I'm doing these. So there is some bend to it, and I'm just coming down the same way I would do it if I was lying on a bench and doing overhead with a dumbbell pullovers, right? So your elbow is going to remain bent when you do these. So if you see, it's pretty much at a 45-degree angle for the most part throughout the entire exercise, and that's what I want. That's how I want it to go, and just really come down and squeeze the back, almost like I want to push something behind me. Like I'm grabbing something and pushing it behind me, and I think this really focuses. I mean, it's definitely lat focused, but it's really brings out the serratus muscles. Something I'm trying to get a little bit more definition in. I think the muscle. I mean, the muscle is definitely there. It's just a matter of diet, and it seems like the serratus. That's the last place that like the serratus and the very like right around the belly button is like the last place fat gets removed from my body. So I think it starts kind of in the face and the neck, and then kind of goes like through the shoulders, chest, arms, stuff like that. Still haven't checked the legs. I gotta shave my legs. Not shave them, but just kind of trim them because they're hairy. I'm like a wolf. So we'll take a look at the legs one of these days soon. Because we've been getting some pretty wicked leg workouts in. But back to the back workout here. I'm just going back and forth. Um, kind of going to, I think I went to failure for the most part on each one, then just swapped. And then I dropped the weight, swapped it over. So it was multiple sets, but just continuous without stopping. Even though when you're doing the right arm, your left side is resting and vice versa. But still, it's not, a normal rest period. It's a little bit less. So just kind of really burned, burned the lats up. I really like this exercise, but I like doing them with both hands too. And I haven't done them with a dumbbell in a long time. Hitting my lat pose there. But yeah, so great back workout. So we did 8 sets in total, which I think 8 sets on a back day is really good. I don't think it's too little. I don't think it's too much. There are definitely back days where I only hit six sets. It just depends how the pump feels, how tired I am. There's a few different variables there, but sometimes it's 8 like today. Sometimes it's 6. I think one time earlier this year I did a 5 set back day, but it was I forget what I was doing. I think that was out in LA, but it just depends. It just depends on how the pump's going and how I feel. Or sometimes if I sometimes I go late at night to the gym. Sometimes I'm just tired, right? So I just want to work out as hard as I can, but I ultimately I want to get the hell out of there and go home and go to bed, right? 'Cause some of these workouts are like, you know, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Not all the time, but quite often, right? So, um, yeah, but overall, great workout. The diet is going good. I'm gonna weigh myself today. Actually, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee in me before I weigh myself, but so I'll be a couple of ounces heavier, but I don't think that's too big of a deal. But I'm anticipating like right around the 199, maybe 198. I don't know. We'll see. But we're definitely making progress. We'll do a check in. I haven't done like an actual physique check in some time. We've done some chest pump and arm pump with the shirt off, just to check things out. And I mean things are going pretty good. I wish I think when I was younger, when I was like my early 20s, when I used to compete, right, in my late teens and very, very, very early 20s. It was so easy to diet for a show. Like I miss those days because when you're 20, even like I would say you like if you're under 30, and you have like even just average genetics, um, it's so it's so easy to diet for a show and just get completely shredded when you're younger. Excuse me. And when you get older, that shit gets a lot harder. So um, to really, it's when I was younger, I could, I think, the one show I remember dieting for like 4 weeks. Like that was it. Like I was just eating like a normal kid does. I think I was 18, 17 or 18. I forget how old I was. But I did this natural show and um, I dieted for 4 weeks, literally. And the only reason I did the show was because a couple of people at the gym were like, dude, you should do a bodybuilding show. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that. But like, I had no desire to do it. But then I was like, but then I did. And then that put like a taste in my mouth. I was like, oh man, this is cool. I didn't win, but I came in second. But I was actually in the men's lightweight because I wanted to do I entered the teen class, but no other teens showed up. And they were like, "All right, well, you can take first place." And I'm like,
be first if I'm the only one. So they let me go into men's lightweight. I think there was 6 of us in total, and I remember being really intimidated because these guys were, they were older. I mean, they were a lot bigger, and it was an all natural show, and I was like, man, these guys are gonna smoke me, man. What am I doing? Like, I after the prejudging, I was like, dude, I should probably just save myself the the embarrassment. Just get the hell out of here. But a few people that were there, a few family members were like, ah, dude, you look really good compared to these other guys. And I was like, really? So then we wound up taking second place. But the guy that beat me, he actually, I forget his name, but he wound up turning pro. Um, I think he was pro in the natural bodybuilding world. So I don't remember his name. I'll try to remember. Actually, I think I might have the video. I think my mom has the video on VHS somewhere. I'll have to see if I can find that the next time I go visit my family up north. Um, but uh, but yeah, like I was saying, I totally digressed there. But when when I like dieting at 48 takes a lot more work than when you're 20 years old, right? When I was 20 years old, like dieting for a show, like I could still eat like freaking bread, stuff like that, multiple times a day and still be just like completely shredded, right? Because metabolism is completely different when you're 20 years old, 18, 17. I think that show I was 17 when I did that. So like, your body's just burning everything when you're that young. When you get older, man, ugh, this shit gets a lot harder to do, but it's still fun, right? It's still fun. So regardless of like, like if I don't get my body, like in another month, or maybe it may even take like another 6 weeks or something to really like diet down to where I feel like I'm ready for another bulk. Even if I'm not like completely diced, like show ready diced, like who cares, right? Like I want to aim for that. But if I don't, pull it off, that's okay, right? Like I'm still having fun doing it, right? Like I'm only doing this for fun. Like I really don't have a desire to step on a stage again. I'm not saying that that will not happen. It might at some point. I don't know. But it's definitely not like my ultimate goal right now. This is like more or less just a freaking hobby of mine. Some people like cars, right? They work on their cars all the time, and some people are computer geeks. They're typing on their computers and doing all kinds of coding and stuff. And other people play golf, right? I like golf. I don't want to play it every day. Once in a while, it's pretty good. Light up a cigar, go hang out with the homies. Um, but lifting and bodybuilding, eating like a bodybuilder, training like a bodybuilder, you know, um, just all of that stuff. It's so much fun. So, at the end of the day, if you're having fun with it, that's really all that matters, right? So, like that's my ultimate goal is to just continue having fun with it because, like for instance, the other day after my leg, like for I think Monday night after legs, all the way, or did I do legs on Sunday? I don't remember what day, but earlier this week, I did legs for literally 4 days straight. I had a tough time walking, and any stairs that I had to do, I look. People were probably looking at me funny, like, why can't that dude walk? Why is he walking so slow up and down the steps? Because my legs were so sore, but I loved it, right? Or like after an arm workout, my arms like feel like noodles, and it takes like if just simple thing like picking up a gallon of milk or a jug of water, and I'm like, oh, like I love that. I love feeling sore after a workout. So there's just this whole thing is just I guess it's a sport, but it's a hobby. I just have fun with it, whatever it is, whether it's a hobby or a sport or whatever. It's an interest of mine that I really like, and just have fun with it. If you're not having fun with it, why are you doing it, right? So, and some people may look at me. Some people look at different bodybuilders and and be like, why would you want to put your body through that type of shit? Like, why do you want to be sore? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, nobody wants to feel pain, right? Ah, wrong. Because I do. And I know a lot of other people do, you know? So It's not for everybody, but you know, I just love going into the gym and just killing myself, just going to absolute failure and then coming home and eating a friggin' half pound of ground beef, ground turkey, and egg whites and all that stuff, man. It's just so much fun for me. Anyway, uh, I have to. I'm gonna throw this video up, and then I'll throw another video up. So we do chest back. So I have a handful of videos on queue that I have to put up and edit. But after back with shoulders, so I'll throw the shoulder. I'm gonna do the shoulder workout. I'll throw that up a little later today. So we're just doing some work around the house. I don't really have anything planned. Long weekend. That'll be cool. If you guys haven't been to the gym yet, it is very early on Sunday morning, so you have no excuse. So get your ass to the gym, and we'll see you guys a little later for the shoulder workout. Have a great day, everybody.